Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be modifying my factory caster rod brackets. So these ones have been cleaned, like you've probably never seen a pair this clean, but I'm going to modify them so they're like these ones that I do. So you can run like an adjustable caster rod, usually S14 or R33. The reason why you would want to run an adjustable caster rod, so these are the caster rods that I use, the big curved ones. As you can see, when you line them up, you get about 50mm extra wheel clearance in the front here. So if you're running big wheels in the front and have a big log setup like I do, you need the extra clearance because it kind of touches the factory caster rod pretty early. So yeah, so what the plan is, what we're going to do is we're just going to get the factory bracket. We're going to cut this back out with the plasma, and then we're going to clean it up with the grinder. Mark out and drill 2 holes through the side. So what I usually do is I usually leave the double skin, because you'll see that this bracket here, I don't know if you can see it without my other light, but this bracket here is one piece and this outside pressing is one piece, and it's all spot welded together. So the plan is to just cut the back of the bush out and leave the skin in, and then when we weld the gusset in the bottom, we'll fully weld these sides just to give it the extra reinforcement so it doesn't tear the caster rod out in case we hit a ripple strip or something worse. So it's pretty simple. As long as you've got the right tools, it goes pretty quickly. So what I'm going to be using is I've got this Repco plasma cutter. So this is the cheapest high frequency start plasma cutter that I could find. So I think this is like, I bought it on their sales of $400. Usually high frequency start plasmas start at around 1,000. So that's pretty good. You need the high frequency start because unless you're going to sandblast these and get them back to bare steel, the normal plasma has a lot of trouble starting on the painted surface or a dirty surface. The high frequency start doesn't care. It'll just like keep punching amps through it until it just burns it through. So it goes really good. And then you just need a compressor source because it just all runs on 240. So I've got a little shitty compressor over there. That's not going to last one cut, but it'll just sit there charging all day before it blows up. So how I usually do it is I usually just have this spare stand and just clamp it to the top, and then yeah, we just come up the side, cut up this side, and then cut it up to the bush, then use the bush as our guide, and then cut around the bush, and then come off on the tangent, and then cut down this side here. So you want to cut, if I can get out of the light, you want to cut just next to this skin because we're going to stitch these two skins together to give it the strength. So we've got them all cut now. What you really want is really good air quality. So if you can get a bit more, or even wait for your compressor to catch up to you, otherwise it gets too jagged. Try and keep it as smooth as possible. No big nicks, otherwise you've got to do a few repairs. But yeah, so just take your time, nice and smooth, and then we're going to come in with the grinder, grind it back. So because this is like a rolled part, there's a lip here on both sides, so we've got to grind that flat just so we can slip the bush in, and then just clean all this up, and then we can put the holes in, put the gussets in, Bob's your uncle. So done a few pairs, but yeah, because my compressor is a bit small, we've had to wait for the compressor. So you can see here that it's running out of air. It's not cutting square. And then goes alright at the start, but because I don't know, I think the electrode's getting worn, so it was sticking to the side. I don't know if you could see it, but when it was starting, you could see it throw the arcs, so that's the high frequency kicking in. And then once it's working, it's all sweet. But yeah, try and keep it square. Just saves all the cleanup work. So no one really wants to sit here with a grinder, because you've got to use a 4-inch because you won't get a 5 in here. And just sit in here and just grind the shit out of it. So the cleaner you can start off with, the better. So now that we got the backs all ground up and then we've flattened off these ends, we're going to mark out where the holes go. So there's going to be a hole in each side. So how I like to do it is use this hole as reference. So I usually go 20mm from the center of the hole back, and then because this is parallel, I usually just square it across 3 sides. And then from the bottom edge, come up 20mm. And that's where we'll drill the holes. So if you're planning on using S13 or R32 adjustable cast rods, it's better to have them back closer to this edge because they're a shorter length. But if you're running S14 or R33 adjustable cast rods, you can probably go backwards a bit, so you probably go 15mm and have them a bit further forward, give yourself a bit more space. Gets a bit tight in here sometimes, but now we'll just drill it. So usually I just drill like a 5mm pilot and then bang it through 12.5. Now that we've got the holes drilled in both brackets and we've cleaned them all up, so we've deburred the holes, just got to strip some paint off the inside of the brackets so we can weld our gussets in. So the gussets themselves, they're 1.6 mild steel, 3.5-inch holes, and I've cut the contour of the bracket onto one side and just got a straight edge on the other, just to make it easier to weld so you don't have big gaps to fill. So we'll put these in. I'm just going to TIG weld it. You can TIG or MIG, whatever suits you, but in this case I'll just TIG weld it and then we're pretty much good to go. Now all we need to do is wait for them to cool down. We can give them a bit of a clean and then paint them black and then fit our caster rods. So all in all, not too bad. So we've got them all painted now and I've started to fit up the new curved caster rods. So these ones, you might be wondering if you can run a stock S13 caster rod. So the problem with the 31 brackets is that they're 80mm wide, so the stock S13, it's only 65mm wide, so there's a 15mm. You could probably pack it up with washers if you wanted to, but then the other problem is that these are a 40mm hole, and then we've only drilled 12mm holes. 40mm bolts are quite expensive to buy, and then the factory S13 bolts won't be long enough to make this distance, so you'll have to be using an aftermarket bolt. So I machine up these spacers, so these are to go the full distance, so they're 80mm wide, and then they suit 3/4 rod ends in the inside. So my cast rods that I do, they're 3/4. I think some of the GK Tech ones are 3/4, and there's the American ones as well, they're also 3/4. So all the other Chinese ones and Taiwanese ones and other ease ones, they're all M16 or M18, so they won't suit these spacers, but you could easily make spacers to suit them yourselves. But there you have it. So now that we've got it all painted up, we can start fitting our caster rods and then put it in the car, and that's that. So hopefully you enjoyed this little video, and you feel pretty confident in tackling it yourself if you want, but there's not too much to it. You're just going to need the gear to do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you around.